أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To our beautiful mothers and our fathers and our ancestors, grandparents, aunts, uncles, extended neighbors, and all the beautiful souls of this beautiful city of Madinatul Kaab here in the Aqsa of the Qarat Ifriqiya. It is the خمسة من 2447 هجري وموافق يوم الخميس. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, it is the 5th. It is Yawm al-Khamis and it is also the 5th. The month of Safar is running parallel to the numerology of the weeks. So, MashaAllah, tabarakallah, it is the 5th. It is Yawm al-Khamis. It is the 5th cycle. And we're heading into the 6th final cycle of the loop. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. It is Laylatul Juma. It is weer Khadat aan. Is Khadat melk aan vanaand, broers. Is It's an auspicious occasion. It is the first Khamis in Laylatul Jummah of the month of the season of Safar. Inshallah, tabarakallah. Allah give your parents some nice barakat in the conscious realms of our emissions. Allahu Akbar. It is um, it is the Safari month, as you all know. Safari season, everything is created into وخلق كل وجعلنا من يعني وجعل كل شيء زوجين. We made everything in pairs. When Noah goes onto the new database, okay, of the mind, then there is a genocide. There's two sides. Okay. Now, what is important for you as a newly graduate, most those of us that has graduated from the lower density of a reality, okay, those of us that has done the shadow work and will continuously do the shadow work, okay, those are you that got the keys to come in to the eternal realm of the spiral and left the loop of infinity, okay. Mashallah, tabarakallah, you have outmastered, you have outsmarted most of humanity. All the presidents and all the professors and all you don't need to be you should come to that understanding in your lifetime today, is that it's not how much of books you read, it's how well you knew yourself. It's how well you did not forsake your inner voice, your inner soul. Okay, that voice that always tells you do it this way instead of what your ego wants you to do it. Okay, that voice that always tells you like do that because it's in your interest, but because we are numbed and we are dumbed and we are spelled, so we don't give heed to that voice that speaks our language. Okay, it never lies. That voice never ever lies. It's just us that has been in another state, in a divided state, in a two-state solution. Okay, that's where we went wrong. That's where we lost our parents and our brothers and our sisters in this evolution that we had passed through in the artificial intelligence and a combo. Okay, so many of you want to understand how artificial intelligence came about, and there's telephones that is in front of your hands because you are not much thinkers in you're not exercising much. You just watch movies. You never really do brain banging as a civilization in general. We're not knowing anybody, so we're just speaking in general about people. We are very much, we are all the same. Nas niemand meer slimmer as die niks persoon nie. Just ons was dom gemaak. Okay, this cellular phone that you have now, we have been spout, and we have been caught in that loop of a network, okay, intelligent network, okay. Everything you get on this phone is actually information that has been stored, and it has been remoduled, computerized and processed, and it's the very same thing, but it's just duplicated because it is the collective data of the human race that has created this artificial mind that most of you are living off today. Okay, most of you live in an artificial world of reality because the data you are getting are simulations of what you, in your experience in a temporal mindset, had generated, and now that is producing a fact sheet and a fact find for us as artificial subjects. Okay, it's where we become synthetic in the understanding of what life is all about, what is yani, true spiritual consciousness, and how do we ignite our true yani, purpose and vision in this dimension. Okay, so because we are there, okay, there is a qabila, there is a tribe that made the hijrah people. Like the story that you in your dream heard about a place where the people yani, was they were making ibadah, they were prostrating to 360 idols. That's the 360 days of the year that you and I have been idolizing. Okay? 360, if you turn it around, it's 600 and yani, 30. Okay? 630, if you drop the zero, it is 63. Okay. Now, most of you lost your prophet when he died from this dimension at the age of 63. But you have to flip it now because there's a reversal of your psychology that's going to yani, be a processing in your realities, okay, your artificial realities. So if you did not, if we did, if we took the spiral instead of going back into the perpetual loop of a reality as what most of you have been living for the last 80, 90, 100 years, 50 years, whatever the case, you can't escape that perpetual reversal, repetitive. You have nowhere to go. That is hell. People, take my word for what I'm telling you guys. If you cannot escape that perpetual lie and hallucination and yani, drug addictive yani, module of a human brain, that's not real. That's artificial. That is the data that you, for the last 30 years, since the cellular phones came into your lives, and that's the data that they have accumulated and they had cross-referenced and cross-pollinated and placed it into certain main thresholds in the system, AWS, Amazon, and Google, major silicon companies that has been employed in order to keep you in this simulation artificially. Okay, that is how your children has passed your perception of a reality, because hulle kan sit upstairs in die kamer en 'n game speel met iemand in Mexico en in Amerika, en hulle self so well enjoy dat as hulle uit die kamer kom, as hulle nog dors because hulle het gehaloop in hulle minds. Okay, now you all know what you did to this generation, guys. You all know you are the cause of transhumanism in a civilization. Okay, artificialized a species that you had no right to intimidate, and upon that you gave them a religion also. Okay, so by now, yani, the story of your people's lives is one of the greatest lies that your children will have to narrate to your great grandchildren as to how unconscious you had become as a self-destructive civilization. Okay, we all are included here. um, in this age of the psychology that we are living, we only live in a reality of consciousness. The rest of it is unconsciousness. Consciousness is in Jannah. It's a Jannah frequency where you are alerted as to what is the current affairs of the conscious sea and mind. And then there is the unconscious world that is considered in Allah's calculation as the hell experience where most of human beings resides. Okay, they believe that governments and military and they believe in the most fatalists of lies because they've been caught out of the natural spiral. Okay, so because of having fed and being instructing this artificial bionic console in your lives, and you see it every day, that rubs off you. If that happens continuously for more than 10 years and you did not change your patterns, then you become encrypted in that philosophy and that reality. Now, for example, like you believe that the money you see in your phone, as you go into the Standard Bank, you believe as a retarded human alien to your nature, you really believe that's money inside that window. It's not money, people. It's just a number. But because of your hypnosis that you have gone through and your alien instinctive qualities that you had now yani, um, taken in, okay, activated, it's difficult for you to say, to believe that you are living the greatest artificial lie of a civilization. But it's something you can't tell you because you're not gonna know who you are because you lost yourself in the process, right? So like that's the real conscious update of a civilization as we are in current conscious waters. And clearly, people, the breakaway and the split up, it's there, it's clear. Nobody can help anybody. Only Allah can help. Okay, we can ask that Allah help whoever wants help and whoever even wanted or seen the need for help. But at this stage of your lives, you have been the cause. We have been the cause of our own self-destruction. Okay, it's clear. There's never, can I say, there's never been a civilization that went and believed that the number on the screen was real, because as the screen nie meer elektrik het nie, dan het sy uit elektrik gehaal. You elect to be tricked. Okay. Nou, is nie meer dommigheid nie, is nou complete deadness. Die senses is dood daar. Ek gaan niks liewe in daai. Okay. It's baie ek van wat hy persoon gaan sê. Kyk hier so, but hy's maar nou net 'n simulation wat sy gaan. Dis nie, is my geld. People, it's not real. It's inside of your minds only. It's not outside. You've been tricked in this thing. Okay. There's nothing we can do. We cannot even give you any free hostage revenue, because you are a hostage of another civilization. You've fallen into the artificial hands. What the Jacobites children and psychology in the night. You are still in Muzdalifah. Okay, and then when you leave Muzdalifah, then you must still come and face up to the nonsense that you have lived in over this last 30 years of your lives. Okay, so this is a fast realm that you are entering now, because it's artificial. It is being modeled by the artificial human intelligent mind. It's artificial, people. Understand what I'm telling you, guys, okay? If you did not restore your authentic original blueprint of how your mind and how your body and how your heart should be working, that is what we call the Khilafah, the Digital Caliphate Age that we are entering. Those who broke away and found the new civilization that Allah has promised the children, that has gone through the process authentically and organically. Okay, they went through the pain. They endured the lessons. They stood their grounds. they empowered themselves. They needed to come to the end of the lane. Okay, they did not take shortcuts. Okay, those empaths. Okay, that were started off as narcissists, and now they become to understand why they react that way, why they were like this, how come they reacted in that way, where did this karma come from, why was my mother like that, why do I hate my father. All those things you have to clear out of your closets before you're going to get into this higher realm of navigating a pure a pure experience of Allah, okay, of knowing Allah, not religion. In this realm, is no religion. There is only the truth that remains, resides on the highest, supreme council. Okay, so that is where we now currently, as the Soul Tribe, opening up the Khilafah, the new Khilafat in the digital age. Okay, most of our children has been complementary placed in the digital age by their nomad fathers and mothers. Okay, and they have also been as kind as to give them free access to the internet and to the Wi-Fi. And now, what does Allah, a God mind, a universal organic mind, do for the children that needs to be revived from this artificial simulation that their parents had made them believe it's real? Okay, hulle dink regtig die screen is real, brothers. Qasam billahi Quran. They don't realize it's just simulation, it's artificial. Okay, but because we build a life on it and we're creating money from it, not knowing, guys, not knowing that tomorrow, if there's no more electric, as daar nie meer elektrik is, dat niemand van julle geld nie, man. Daar gaan niks geld meer wees nie, because julle geld gaan allemaal gedisappear wees. Verstaan? Daar gaan nie meer die messages deurkom nie, nou, waar gaan julle geld kry? Niks gaan buitekant gebeur nie, die ATM's werk nie, die computers werk nie, nou, waar gaan julle geld wees, man? Ek sal like om te weet, waar gaan die artificial waarheid wees wat julle kinders vertel het is die waarheid, wat nou gaan 'n instant lieg word. Nou daar gaan julle God ook dood. Nou you are sitting on a very fine line of being exposed openly, but because of the compassion of the great mothers, not being let off the hook here at the moment. But it's a sad story, people. The reality is something and the non-reality is something. The conscious is something and the non-conscious is something. The night is something and the day is something. So, that lie, you had to get religions to justify that lie. You had to subdivide that lie into 3 different religions and call it the Abrahamic patriarch religions. You had to falsify the currency and make it into paper, okay? And then cause a white paper genocide. And then believe in nation countries. And all these, all this artificial intelligence that you are now sitting with, and that is now going to robotically instruct you and direct you as to how to think, okay? That data is now giving, it's recycled data. It's now giving you information that you are like saying, hey, what's the AI? All that information is in all of us, people. It's just we forfeited our prototype that Allah created, that intelligent, higher being, and we have now succumbed to a artificial simulation experience. There is no Allah there. There is no Qiyamah there. There is no truth there. It's all synthetic. Okay, everything, even your money is synthetic. Okay, even your contracts are synthetic. So, people, you know what? Now, what happens now? The Khilafat now. This is the time for the Khilafat. The whole new civilization of children that was left as orphans and unidentifying to their natural order, they're going to get a boot from the ancestors, from the heavens. The intelligence now is going to become naturalized again in this process that we are going through. Those who are in the night cannot see what's happening in the day. Those who are unconscious doesn't know what's happening. Those who are unconscious are still busy with false gods. Okay. Those who are conscious in the day now, the Nahar or the Mubasira, they can exactly see how this thing falls in place because we do nothing. We just have to tell the story because that is how we see it. We can't do anything because it's only built on your niyyah. Everything is just consciously happening inside. Nothing exists on the outside. You've been conned. Billahi alaikum, you've been conned. Your affiliation, our need to have something for ourselves is and it is the volatility and the weakness and the instability and the insecurities that you cannot face up to inside. The threats, the low esteem, all of those things, yani, you couldn't face up to it. You couldn't save your child, yani, as I always say. So now the soul tribes at this moment in our lives, look, people, you must come to terms with the fact that die trein gaan aan whether jy op die trein is of nie op die trein is. Die trein is nie hier om vir jou te laat maak voel kwaai nie en almal gaan vir jou sien, daar is hy op die trein nie. That's ego trips, man, guys. Okay? We are we are higher beings. We are conscious beings. We know life better than the last civilization because we can see how they're being self-destroyed, how they self-destroyed themselves. Okay, how they believed in monetary systems that was completely a fictional reality, and they believed that was true value and wealth. Okay, the true wealth, people, is your health. Graag julle ma's en julle pa's nou, wat elke dag met 'n hospitaal toe hulle, waar is julle health? Waar is die wealth? Okay? Elke van ons wat met pille vat elke aand voor ons gaan slaap elke oggend. Ons het gehoor in die past civilization die grootste addicts, dat sê ons die kinders is drug addicts. Die pa's en die ma's het geraak addicts en hulle wil dit nie sien nie because hulle siek. Het hulle siek gemaak, hulle het hulle self siek gemaak. Hoekom? Because hulle het geglo dat Allah Ta'ala maak a human being sonder mistake. Okay? Hulle gaan modify hulle self en wat hulle in hulle gesit het. Okay? If you look at the past civilizations, those people, hulle was die fetty. As ek kyk hy Boesman wat geloop in die Kalahari en hier in die platteland, hy was, hy het die baie geëet because die son het vir hom kos gegee. Oh, if you must understand the human body and the human evolution and who the human is, it will be a shame to see what we've done to a civilization. Okay? How we left our natural order and our natural discipline. At the end of an age like what you saw, the churches, en ma hulle weg van pa hulle weg van ma, al die huise toe, almal niemand kan gaan nêrens toe nie, almal, that is the end. Now you have to have a new beginning. So you have to find the new definition of Allah. The Allah that you are currently doing is the Allah you also showed your children how unfit that man is, or that being is, that source is, to safeguard this planet. Okay, it was the end of the lie, but you just cannot come out of the lie. It was artificialized now. At the moment, most of us are living on a artificial respiratory belief system of who we are. Okay, religion cannot help you now. It's unfortunate. Okay, so the Khilafah that is now, now we're speaking about we people, the conscious human beings. We're not speaking about the unconscious people being, they must see the thing in the physical realm where they believe, hey, die is die regte ding. Die regte ding is daarbo. Die onder is dit 'n valse ding because jy sien dit net in jou oë. It's just it's just a processing. It's just a color book. Okay? Imagine is I'm a jinn. Imagine I'm a jinn. Okay? Everything that you ever know in your life is through an image. And that is how you falsify your identity through that process. You haven't learned the studies because this comes from Allah, because this is ilm ladunni. This is not for scholars and dollars and all this. This is personally for the tribes, the soul tribes that's coming home. They get the manual. Die wat jy moet doen, jy moet jy doen, jy is die protocol, because ek gaan huis toe nou en sy kan dit nie verkoopie. Moenie commercialize religion nie, okay? Moenie zakat betaal op riba nie, okay? The modulation where you're living is a civilization. It's a comedy for those who are living in a higher realm of yani, reciprocation. Now, at this moment in time, so when you migrate to the natural order, the fitrah of Allah, then you enter into where you will now find yani, your sahaba. Okay. Kyk, die stories wat julle gelewer het is net in julle imagination. When you imagine it and you believe it, then you see it. But you can never yani, be it, because it's just a timeline in conscious that you are engaging in inside of your minds, guys. Okay? Sê buitekant is boeke wat julle gelees het, stories wat julle gehoor het, nou het hy gehoor die mainstream, but I can accept that if there was no COVID that came in your civilization. But COVID killed your narratives. It killed every truth, basically every monetary system, every religious structures. It could not sustain what COVID did to a civilization. It made everything into a brutal lie. But now, for us to come out of that simulation is difficult. You had to do the work, people. There was a lot of work to be done because there was a lot of false pretense. Baie aangesittery en vals gefritjies en sulke dingetjies. Okay? Now, as we now enter into this new conscious world, that is what Allah terms where Ibrahim takes the loop of the spiral in order to understand a new reality that is unfolding. That is the Khilafat. Now we are in that digital Khilafat because nobody can touch you there because you are now on a frequency, man. Okay? There's no borders there. There is no need for citizenship there because everything will now be naturally moduled and regulated as to what the natural order was of the planet when you come into a so-called Jannah space. How must you live in that area? Okay? There is no fear. There is no need for you to be worried. Waar gaan sy môre eat? Waar gaan ek geld kry môre? Because there's a Allah where you are living. Daar is dit die Iblis. Because you believe that Allah creates money, not the Iblis. Okay? Hier wat julle nou in this new order that you are in now. And just to say, you prayed to Iblis for money. You did not pray to Allah. You made shirk in that past world. Okay? Now, when you come into this new mind of a reality, a conscious, it's a new alam, then you must realize that môre moet nog kom, because vandag is die langste dag. Because there's niks dag voor vandag nie. There's niks what exists in the past. Now, this is an age that you're not going to easily be able to say, Salma, liewe someone said, okay, ek gaan balang nou hier, ek val out of the race because my mind is kan nie vir my dra nie. It's not your mind, it's your body that has been occupied. You have allowed that screen, that digital information to run so through your body and operate and regulate you that you believe that things that was real out there. You gave that actors life. You gave that mini stars, that ministers. You gave them life. They were paid actors, but you gave them that elevation. Nou kan julle nie uit dit. Alles wat julle glo op die four corners, die Kaaba, die four corners, die cube. A cube is what we call a muka'ab, something that is caught up in a four-cornered stone. Okay? Now, your mind is built like that because it's most a 3 or 4-dimensional reality that you think through. Okay? Now, luckily here again, I must say, is that the children, they've been rescued out of that. We are now building this digital khilafat where there's already a Baitun Nur. It's already in orbit. There is tribal law, and all the entire lifestyle will be digitally regulated now. Okay, they have no choice. You put them in there now. What must we do? Okay, we have to now reconcile so that they can come closest to their natural disposition, their fitra, and not lead the shirk lives that their past generation that caused them to be in such a volatile position be simulating. So they have to go back to the ratibul haddads in the ratibs, and you have to go back to that natural order. Even the Combais Afrikaans, they must get that again, because look, it's clear the last civilization, the last generation, they were committed culpable homicide with their own children, okay, in earth, okay. So this will now open up a new portal of a reality where they will now not be fixed in wanting to own something that will never be theirs, like their parents were obsessed. Jy moet vir hom daai koop, jy moet vir hom daai koop. Ek gaan dit nooit kan own nie. Why did you want to give him an understanding of ownership when nobody can own anything at the end of the day? I can't take it with him. Why did you give him such a false religion, such a false condition? Okay, it brought a low esteem in that child. Okay, because what God did not want to make all children equal, but now why did he have to do that in order to get that? When everybody could have shared it, and it would have been nobody's ownership at the end of the day. Now we, as the new incoming pioneers and custodians of this age, we have to think of all the nonsense that has happened in the past, so that that child cannot repeat that same nervous wreckage that you brought him into in this third dimension. Okay, so the Khilafat, the digital Khilafat, is now officially activated on this, the 31st of July, okay, which corresponds to the 5th of Safar 1447. The infrastructure is ready, okay. It's already built inside of you people. Hoe gaan julle lewe in die Jannah? You have a very low understanding of who we are. We have a very, very low estimation of Allah. Very, very low, people. Because Allah put everything inside of us, not outside of us. Okay? And now this blueprint and this new module of a lifestyle for the next 950 years will be floated. Like you believe that America has like 90 billion is floating to Ukraine and 50 billion. It's just numbers you sing in your mind, and you believe it, and you believe it's real. That's how you've been hypnotized. Okay, difficult to come to terms with the lies, people. It's very difficult because you went and fell in love with the screen, man. And that's where it actually, you never knew that the system would be popped and you will be ditched in the psychology. Difficult situations to live with. And that is primarily why, because you didn't want to make this. Julle het 100,000 rand in julle accounts, 10,000 rand in julle accounts, gaan weg baie hard. But 99 van julle verstaan nie een sentence in die Koran nie. Nou moet julle van, is there a possibility dat ek verkeerd dink, ek op 'n verkeerde ba is, ek op 'n verkeerde ding is. Julle moet julle self vir 'n requisition by nou, broers. Because somehow het iemand vir julle 'n moerse kop aangesit. En julle kan nie in hy kop afchisel nie, en nou glo julle almal is verkeerd buitekant en sy alleen is reg. Broers, it's the opposite. It's the opposite that's going to happen. And it's something which was necessary. As you all know, this thing went completely out of control. So there is going to be a digital khilafat, okay, where everybody on a global scale will now structure how a lifestyle must be with their soul tribes, in an online world. Online world means that you are consciously interacting at the end of the day, you will refine to understand how conscious works and who are you and where is Jannah for real. Okay? The biggest conspiracy today you are living through is religion because you cannot question it. And that is why you had forfeited your blueprint and you forfeited your authentic and God, your authentic operational systems. Okay? Your children and your grandchildren are being gifted this from the heavens. That I know with Allah's Qudrat, according to the narration of the Quran. But how they're going to understand life is it's the night and day. What we were when we must understand ourselves as being in Muzdalifah. Arafat was Muharram, that age where you had to know yourself and all these things. Just as a modulation, you had a dry run in the Jahannam. Now, you're coming from the Muzdalifah, the dark age where you could only make out the stars. Okay, now you're gonna see wie die regte Iblis is wat by die Jamarats is. Iblis is nie buitekant nie, broers. Iblis is binne. Ons is die Iblis. Maar ons kan nie to terms kom nie because it just looks too real on the outside. It's doctors, it's lawyers, it's real, it's money. It's just a simulation, people. If it was you were regulating it and it was for your own children and it was for your next 2-3 generations, then believe it with all means. But you believe something that is destroying your own children and you're giving it power through your mind. Okay? That's how bad you have been manipulated and controlled and invaded and substituted in this process. Die blindste pad van die hele ding is julle kinders sien dit, man. Daar is die skaamte daarvan, because as 'n ouer iets verkeerd doen in sy kind se presence, man, dan moet jy maar saam met die skaamte, maar die ouers, hulle nog stry met hulle kinders. Maar die hele game is al oral en hulle train nog altyd om die movie te speel en die movie is al klaar al en die mense sal uit die bioskop uithaal, maar hulle wil nog altyd bly daar. Okay? Because hulle skaam, man. Hulle is ashamed of this whole scenario that is unfolding. This is in real time that I'm telling you, people. I'm not speaking to you about things that is happening in the Jahannam, in an unconscious mode of operandi, as most of us are currently and just surviving in. You can't leave that abstract and you have nowhere else to go. Okay? As 'n swaarigheid as jy nie kan huis toe kom nie, broers. As 'n donderse swaarigheid. Nou, die Khalifa, die Khilafat, it kom nou in. It's a time for your next generations. Don't think about yourselves anymore. Please, people. Think about the future, about your future generations. Kan na like vra vir julle. Okay? Dink net van Allah gaan gee vir julle insig as julle vorentoe kyk en nie terugkyk nie. As niks meer in die pasie. Daar is niet in julle minds is beliefs wat vir julle that kept us hostage, man. Okay, is repetitive goed is julle is buitekant en julle weet nie die problem is binne nie. En die solution is in die problem. Wat julle maar word gesê die julle adversary, dat is iemand anders wat iets verkeerd doen. You are fighting yourself inside of yourself. Okay? Nou soos het nou amper weer Maghrib tyd, broers. So Jeem International will flag this digital Khilafat lifestyle for the organic tribes and clans of the lands, okay, with the infrastructure that will regulate them to find their true purpose and identity and live in harmony without competing, without owning anything. Okay? Daar gaan niks ownership wees. Ons was regtig, wat gaan julle own in die Jannah? Die most highest place wat julle gaan is. Julle gaan dan niks het in die Jannah nie. Nou wat het julle geown in die Jahannam laat vir julle laat gesuffer het in die Jahannam? You must come to terms that you lost plot here, guys. You gave your children the wrong message. Because you were infiltrated and gave them idols and idolatry formats of lifestyles. You must live up to the truth, otherwise you're gonna pay the price for it. Okay. You don't know me, I don't know you, but I'm telling you that the highest religion in the world is the truth. If you cannot submit to the truth, you cannot be the awwalul Muslimin. You cannot be, as what you say, wa ana awwalul Muslimin. You must come back to the fact that the past that you erred in, you must come back to retracting and attracting what is originally coming from the front and not from the back. The back is dead. You'll be living in a timeline that has no relevance in what is unfolding in a digital world and Caliphate age, inshallah. Inshallah, give barakat to the mothers and fathers, and inshallah, we will see each other very soon, on a different. Tonight, Khanas Musabichi, inshallah. Have a nice buka, brothers and sisters, and mothers and fathers, and may Allah Ta'ala accept your niyat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا مصطفى